Good evening all. It is a pleasure to introduce Architect Vajirappan Ratnakaran and Architect Virat Linkipal as our distinguished speakers for the second talk of LM Series 3. Vajirappan founded PAVA Architects with Virat in Bangkok in 2018. Previously, she worked as a licensed architect and an interior architect under the Architect Council of Thailand. Vajirappan holds a Bachelor of Architecture degree in Interior Architecture from Chulalongkorn University and the Master of Advanced Studies in Urban Design 2017 from ETH Zurich. Virat has vast experiences with Architects 49 Limited in Bangkok, Vajrakingal's group in New York, and worked as a registered architect and landscape architect under the Architect Council of Thailand. He is a graduate Bachelor of Architecture from Chulalongkorn University and holds a degree of Master in Landscape from the Graduate School of Design, Harvard University, where he worked as a teaching assistant for landscape studios. PAVA is an interdisciplinary practice in environmental design studio based in Bangkok. To PAVA, time, place, and context matters, and believes that architecture needs to reflect the multidimensional and invisible layers of economics, politics, cultural, and the environment. PAVA has received design awards both internationally and locally. They include the 2023 Karl May Museums, and D1 was the winner of Creative Reuse category in World Architecture Festival and was also commended by the Architectural Review for AR New in Old Awards. Teak Pavilion and its research were exhibited as the main thematic pavilion at Architect Expo 2023 Bangkok. So please join me in welcoming PAVA Architects to share their experiences with us today.
Thank you for your nice introduction. And we are PAVA Architects. My name is Virat and my partner Vajirappan. And today we're going to talk in the theme of reviving in progress. Okay. Here is one of our projects. It's called Mekong River. I think it represents many thoughts from our firm that it's not just a space form part of architecture, but we try to understand the new environment as well. Like for example, in the bottom part of the picture is existing rain tree that is so important for the project. But the most important thing about the project that we're working on is about the invisible things or invisible layers. For example, it's not just the gable or the space, but it's about the raining as well. So the thing that is not always happening, and is sometimes happens, it's always changing. When we go to the site, we're doing research a lot, and we visit sites all the time in different seasons, from to rainy season and hot season. Every information is so different, so that is part of our project. We do a lot of projects from museum, house, and so on. And what we try to understand is the invisibility, the thing that behind of every project, and is always hiding that we cannot find visibly. And what we are interested is we doing from the smallest scale of the interior architecture to architecture, landscape, and urbanism scale that hybridize every scale together to be design. And this is one of the examples of our research that you can see from the left-hand side diagram. And we have a graph of precipitation here. And the water level here is so low, and it affects a lot of the root system, the tree. And okay, we start to understand that it's not about the tree that we can see on the ground, but we try to understand what happened in the ground as well. On the other hand, on the right-hand side, the difference of the time periods that related to water, you can see like in this case that we have a lot of water here, and that affects so much of the activity of agriculture in that area. We try to understand both underground and the activity that always changing during the years. So from that research that we did in Africa, we going back to Bangkok and try to understand the complexity of the tropical climate and tropical vegetation. From the bottom one is the first year of the planting that we are studying on, and it's keep growing to the 15 years, and keep growing to the 40 years. We can start to understand, okay, the complexity, the biodiversity of the tree that form a super complex space in terms of the landscape architecture. And here is the map of the same location. It's the Ayutthaya province. It used to be the former capital of Thailand. And you can see on the left-hand side it's 2 in July, and on the right-hand side is 2 in October. You can see like same location, but so much different. The water everywhere in the rainy season, it's all flat every year. You can see this river here. That is the same river. So it's very challenging to working in the Thailand context. That thought is so normal that how can we design the architecture or the landscape that fit to this complex scenario of the flooding crisis. So that, look at this map, Thailand. Bangkok is in the middle, and we have 4 main rivers that come from the northern part of Thailand, being Wang Yongnam River and combined together to be the main Chao Phraya River in the center. So that you can see that because of the heavy rain of the tropical climate, that amount of the water affects the type of soil so much that we need to find an alternative flooding design in Bangkok here, so different from that. So you can see now that the water is so important in Thailand, but it's not just the flood. It's all about the settlement that people start to settle along the river in Thailand. And here's the old map. We got it from the Royal Siam archive that in the settlement we have the cultural layers like this Buddhist temple and some of the army camp that settle along the water. So the water and the river is so important in Thailand's context so much. Okay.
In our work, we respect not only the natural resources, environmental issues that he mentioned, we also respect the way of people living. This is a normal way that people live in Thailand in vernacular architecture. We're grateful that we have very rich landscape, rich natural resources, and we just sit there and get breathing in. If we design correctly, we can get natural ventilation easily in Thailand and be quite in a comfort. Like a temperature, right? And it's quite comfortable if we just be able to blend into the nature. We try to record everything that we found in every project. For example, this one, we record the vernacular architectural element here. For example, the wall that made by bamboo finished with the clay, or the element like a balcony, stairs, and many architectural elements that embrace our life. Move to the city, we concerned about the urbanization as well. This is our project that we researched about the adaptation during COVID situation. For sure, we all know that balcony is very important part. That is the free area that we can, extra area in the house that we can get close to the outside. So we observe what happened in the social housing area, and we found that they can just easily adapt it by themselves, can buy something even online. It doesn't need to be expensive to get a comfortable space or extra space to utilize. Another one is ongoing project as well. Is a Victory Monument that when urbanization comes for sure, people change the way that they use public space. In this project, we try to observe what happened there and improve the connection between the 4 islands around this roundabout, because this area not only function as a landmark of the city, but it's like a main transportation hub as well. And nowadays we have to embrace like inclusive design to allow everyone here, not only like an adult that can walk freely, but like a handicapped person, everyone that can walk around this area and to be safe there. So in our project, in every project we did, we try to understand everything that happened. Like our introduction, time, place, and context really matter.
Yeah. As Trish mentioned, that before we working in each project, we doing a lot of research and we try to write and record all detail. The first project that we want to talk is the very first project that I and Trish work together. It's happened almost 10 years ago. It's a competition that we won second prize. It's a competition for the headquarters for Northern Architect of Thailand. So here is the Chiang Mai city. You can see like this like old town Chiang Mai, the rectangle one, very beautiful city. You have to go whenever you visit Thailand. And the airport is here, and the above is flooring, and the site location is on top of that. So when we received the brief of the competition, Chiang Mai faced a lot of flood crisis. Like that, I know that you have a flood crisis happen here in Cochin as well. And it's a big issue that a lot of development is not care about the nature. So when the rain falling down, they don't have like a good practice of water management in the city. So we suggest that as an architect, how can we design the architecture that contributes the flood mitigation or the idea of the water management to the city. So that is our project is all. Here is the perspective that we did 10 years ago, but the main idea of the projects is do we need to do like the 100% of the site footprint? So we suggest that can we do only half, 50% of the site location. You can see at the back, you see the arrow that pushing down. In landscape, we call cutting and fill technique. So we suggest to cutting the land at the back of the site and start to fill at the front of the site to create the water retention area that help collect some of the rainwater for the city. And then we have like a small courtyard here that minimize the programs and create like an intimate courtyard here and suggest to have like a landscape as architecture facade and try to be a universal design diagram. Okay, and here is the plan that we submitted 10 years ago that, okay, let's do only half of the size here. And we want this project to inspire local architects and local people. Like, do we need to really have to build our footprint on site? So here is like the end result of that. And here is a native plant species that we don't want to like create a lot of waste of construction materials. So we suggest to have this low maintenance plant that can farm around the site area to be the facade here. You see this minimize the parking lot area as well. Courtyard. Here is like the section that we did, and you can see clearly that at the back of the project is like cutting down and use this soil and fill in the front of the building to create a connectivity to the public street and roof garden here. Like this, and all of that is like a native plant. Here's like a roof garden atmosphere. See the beautiful mountain of the Chiang Mai city, and here is like the triangle courtyard, and at the back is like retaining for the water management. Here's the interior courtyard of the project. Okay.
Next one is an adaptive reuse project. It's called Goma Asset in Chiang Mai again. This project is on another site. Among the urban sprawling in Chiang Mai, which you can see here from the map, this project functions as an oasis of the area. This is an old tobacco drying estate. Since 1955, this is the spirit of the place. We have to accept that. When we visit the site first time, we inspired by this ambience that the old barns and the big trees are coexist. And we want to preserve this spirit of the place because it's the core value of the site. This is a plaque in the past. This area used to be a center, the socio-economic center of the area, where the villagers come to sell and buy the tobacco leaves. This is an atmosphere inside the barn. In the past, there are 3 generations of the barns. The first generation, the wall made of rattle and dog. The second generation made by bricks. And the last generation made of concrete blocks. It's depending on the availability of the materials at that time. When we visited the site, this is what we see. It's like it still coexists and it's very unique because the owner really loved the tree, so they don't want to cut any tree down. So it's a core value because other place there is no tree like this. We want to understand everything on site so that we start to design the master plan. It's a kind of incremental master plan because we work for this project like so many years and so we try to understand water flow, which fortunately our conservation part is on the high point, so it's quite useful for that. Also, we design the flow around not to disturb the hotel at the center. We do building inspection to understand every situation on site. We do the tree assessment to keep them healthy. This is the overall that we try to draw everything and propose new one here. And this one is a drawing that is on scale because like we measure everything to understand it. And you can see here, this is a conservation part that we try to keep the old thing as it is. And we blend the new one inside, the new function inside. You can still see the real witnesses of time. This is a wild preservation area, agricultural area. There are many programs coming up. This is the building inspection we did. You can see here, there is the trace of the old tobacco drying barn when it was blooming in the past. They can just like build it up. There are so many sizes. Also the tree here that we draw. This is also the drawing that differentiates between the new and old condition. It used to be so dry around, and after they stopped like the drying process, the tree just like naturally gone up. In this new building, we have to strengthen them differently for each one. These drawings show all the barns that we do the intervention. We propose the subtle intervention into each barn. The white part is the old element, and the black part is the new one. You can see here, ranging from the minimum intervention of the tobacco drying barn museum to the more intervention. For example, if this one, the tea barn is quite dilapidated, so we have to reconstruction them again. And the other, the resort part and the trade house that we do intervention for. For more detail about the museum, the first one is quite in fair condition. So like, we draw everything, we repair as original, we reinstall the element that's gone already. So this is the overall. We reinstall the furniture, the heat pipe here, and keep the size, the typology of the barn, 6 by 6 meter, with the gable roof. And this is the inside the barn. that we keep as original. The only element that we add is only gravel floor and lighting. It's very subtle. We want to propose the subtle design dimension. This is our core strategy because we want to keep it as it is. We believe that in order to learn about history, to understand about ourselves, we need to see the real evidence of time. This is the other generation that I mentioned before. Okay, this is the local artisan. They worked in this estate before, since the vine processing. And until nowadays, they come back to help us do for the local craftsmanship, especially woodwork. We use the local technique for bamboo weaving. We add French stain in order to prevent damp penetration to the barn. This is the overall of the estate. This one, we want to highlight this because like the way that we preserve the coexistence between the big trees and the barn. You can see here, we didn't use the support, right? Support to the tree because we adopt the arboriculture technique to maintain them together. For example, in this one, we use the technique that called crown raising and directional pruning to balance them together. The next museum, we have to strengthen them. So we add the steel structure inside. This is the way that we put the steel structure on top because we cannot like put it from the front. This is the ambience inside that we put the introduction here that we call the timeline panel. Because in this project, we allow the visitor to walk freely. So that like we put it here and allow them to walk, to choose to see inside by themselves. Also this kind of steel structure, we added here because we allow the extension phase in the future. This is when it glow in the dark, remind us about the past of the project. This is a T-barn. It's quite dilapidated condition, so like we propose to reconstruction them again. And in order to contain lots of people to embrace the public program, to fit our like modern day living, right? So we propose to have more steel structure to be able to contain people and also provide big shading for the area. Also the other element to support tea drinking culture. This is a existing. Okay. When we have to reconstruction them, we have to measure everything and pack it like this. Label everything and put it back. This is all the drawing that you can see, the sunken space, the big roof there. Also, we provide this area with many kinds of furniture by the local artisan. You can see here, it's very subtle design that blend into the existing bond. Another side of the building here, the sunken space will connect the nature, blend into the nature inside, also function as a water management here. We use a granite here, reflective granite, to reflect the trace of this heritage. This is the ambience inside. We reuse this brick to create the counter at the center again, which you can see here. It's very old one. And the detail of the furniture. In every project, we have to accept that in our country, we have limited resources. And we have to revise our drawing, like for this one, like 10 times. It's like to fit to their skill, to fit to the local artisan skill. And this one, the adding steel structure to cover people, it's very helpful when it's raining there because there is no like roof that can cover people when they come here. This one functioned very well during that time. This is at night. The lighting also glow and very subtle. This is the overall of the project that we can still keep the coexistence since we arrived here. And this is the way that we record to check the health of the big tree. This is the way that we adopt the agriculture technique on site. We label everything and put the signage everywhere to indicate, to allow people to learn to use as a recreational space as well. Also, not only the barn and the big tree that we can preserve, we still preserve more than 100 species of birds and wildlife. Next is Mekong House in Loi, Thailand. You can see here the nature changed a bit from the northern part to the northeastern part of Thailand. Here is our location by the Mekong River. When we met the owner first time, he told us that he really loved to live in the timber house when he was young. And he also impressed by this scenery of Mekong as well. And with his down-to-earth personality, he very humble. These kind of things inspired us a lot. Also the vernacular architecture around the area. This is the house of the monk. The vernacular architecture of the group of people that we call Thai Lu, and another part that we call Thai Dam as well. We try to record everything that I mentioned, and it's we proposed the house that parallel with the Mekong River with the setback, following the rules. And then here, you can see the very simple rectangular plan, like a modern plan. But we optimized the timber structure 4 by 4 meter. Very simple one. It's like an open structure that allows life to blend inside. We reuse the wood from rice mill, and this is a working drawing that the owner, us and the contractor work on site. In this building, the owner worked really hard with us. He can remember every timber that he get. It's and it's when we construct this house, it's constructed piece by piece, which you can see here. This one is quite clear that we simply use the timber structure honestly, very simple one, straightforward one, and we pack all of the MEP system at the center in order to not to obstruct the view of the Mekong River. This is our simple plan here. This is alive inside and pack all the toilet and the system at the core. And you can see the dash line here. It's like a balcony on top, cantilever, with a very big roof here. So for sure, the user can live comfortably inside. This is the structural diagram that you can see, the straightforward structural. This is our big roof here. So normally in Thailand, we can sit here, at the transition space here, when it's not too hot, or even it's raining. This is the ambience of the house, and we also add the louver here to be a kind of a private panel. This is the overall of the building. The color of the timber change depending on the season. If it's raining, it's getting darker. This is the ambient when we sit on the balcony. When it's raining, there's no problem at all. Actually, honestly, since I studied architecture, I dream to build a house that we can live, like we can just sit inside whenever like it's raining or it's hot weather, we can just sit there and we get the breezy wind. This is the way that we blend the building, the structure to the existing tree. You can see here the raw timber, and we also use the clay here on the side to finish on the wall. This is the view of Mekong River. It's very serene atmosphere, and the small pavilion there is leftover of the timber that like from this house. The toilet inside, good ventilation there, and there is also a small structure here, replicate from the big one of the house to be a service part. This is the overall of this building.
So after we finish this house design, so we try to develop the idea of this compacting plan. It's like a skyscraper. When you see like the circulation at MVP was packed in the middle of the plan, and we developing idea to be a hotel in the future, but kind of try to find a way to minimize the construction budget. So right now it's a work in progress of the hotel design that we are working on. Here you can see like we develop with the local craftsmanship how to create a very special materials texture with the native glass with the earth that paint to the wall. And here is the hotel that we are working in progress. As I interviewed in the morning, that you can see a lot of like shading here. It's like the beauty of the tropical climate that the sky is so bright, and because of the roof, you can see like the darkness and some of the shading and the shadow that is very beauty. And another thing that we want to point out that we want to show to the people that to use timber, it doesn't need to be like all perfect. It can be like different color, it can be different texture, but it combined together. We think that the good design doesn't need to be perfect. It can be imperfect. No need to be perfect. And I think that is like a very special sense of the design as well. Here is like we took this photo last year. It's like a tectonic that you can see that we try to minimize the timber structure. You can see like we try to cantilever the structure as much as we can, because like we want to reduce the number of the timber column. We use only like a few columns here and like cantilever in all direction to gain a lot of usable area for the project. Here's like another roof angle that we study from the local vertical architecture that fit to the climate conditions. Here is the interior space that size of the timber doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be big to be good. It can be small, like 4 inches here, and the color is like mixed together. It's like a forest here. So we appreciate the imperfection of the design that represent our project as well. Here is the columns, and you see the cantilever effect of the balcony, and cantilever to the left-hand side and the right-hand side as well. Here is like the restaurant of the hotel that we incorporate the timber structure with the concrete structure that contain the roof garden in the middle. Still working. And here is the infinity pool next to the restaurant that we're doing detail that try to connect to the Mekong River visually, and the mountain of the Lao area on the opposite of the Mekong River. Very beautiful scenery. Yeah, too far away. Okay. Another very progress of the tiny cabin that we worked like I think almost 2 years. Tiny cabin. Here's our size. Is in monsoon climate, located in the southern part of Thailand, very almost the southern part of Thailand. Here you see like the beautiful wetland area here. here, side area, like small pink dot here, and all the natural flow flowing down from the high part of the mountain and flowing down to this watershed area and going to the sea. What we try to do is try to design a site planning and architecture that respect and follow the natural flow of water that we analyze from the high point to low point. So here is the view that we took. You can see like the beauty of the existing condition of the wetland and the local vegetation here, and the profile of the mountain is very beautiful. We don't want to create something very big that disturb and destroy this sense of scenery. So our design is like instead of we talk a lot with the client that instead of creating like a very big housing program, why not we like try to minimize the building footprint. You can see here that all the floor elevated a little bit that allow the flow of the rainwater like interpenetrate of this into the wetland area. And instead of like expand horizontally, we expand vertically to have like a mezzanine program, reduce budget, but have a very nice quality that mixes the landscape. Only 4 columns of the steel structure, 1, 2, and 1 outside, 2. And the basic roof gable structure that collect the rainwater here. We call this rain garden. We pick the plant that fit to the water, and we contain this water and we like move that amount of water into the watershed area. And here's like a diagram that we show to the client that okay, we have like a small footprint of the hotel and the housings and all that tiny cabin that collect all the rainwater together as a network. And here collect the rainwater and network and combine together and let that natural flow of water into the watershed area. So, and you can see like the view, the angle is not blocked each other with the strategy of the site plan as well. Yeah, you can see that as I mentioned, the 4 column of the steel cantilever again, and we pick the planning that have a galvanized steel effect of the reflective of nature and try to blend visible with the landscape as well. Here the plan that you can locally find around the area, which is very good because like low maintenance, you don't need to like put a lot of money to like take care of this plant and this great garden at the back that all the time. And on the right, low power watershed area. I heard the sound, but it's okay. It's okay. It's the ambient of the design. And here is another view angle of the tiny cabin. And before we building the mock-up of the design, so we were with the client that how can we like regenerate and help increase the fertilizer for the project. So we have the event that help the beam that help increase the nitrogen in the soil here. Okay, and here is the first, very first mock-up that we took last year. Here, the 4 column of the steel here is like the back of the bedroom, and you see the rain garden at the back of the roof here, and we have this a little bit of skylight that allow the natural light that come into play in the bedroom here. On the left hand side is the mezzanine of the bedroom. Yes, at night atmosphere, we test the lighting fixture in this project here, and that's the plan that we start doing almost 2 years ago. And we moved from a very small project in southern part of Thailand to be a very big project in Bangkok. We do a medical program as well, right in the heart of the Bangkok area. We did like almost 4 years already. It's like remember the map of Thailand and the 4 rivers combined together to be the Chao Phraya River in the middle. It's like a royal palace here. And other side is like on the opposite of the royal palace here is the medical programs called Thonburi Hospital. And it's quite old development that this hospital like grow almost like 45 years without like good planning. It's already like doing by work of an engineer, and what we try to do is help them organize an area. The funny thing is like at first that we go into this project, they want us to design like a curtain wall glass that covers some of the building, but we don't do that. That curtain wall glass is okay, but I feel like we can do something better and keep the curtain wall like later in the project. So that's why we come into the project and see like why these things happen and try to understand all the aspects and hiding behind the project. Is like the first time that we get into the project, like circulation, waiting area, station, treatment, everything is mixed together. It's like it's chaotic condition in the hospital, and we think that we can do something about that. We also go inside the operation room and in the room of the project that try to understand our program that intertwine together as a big picture. So here is like try to unpack all of that complexity of the medical program into like simple diagrams. And we try to propose like two approach of the design hospital. The first one is quick fix. Whatever we can do now, we do. But in the future, we're planning for the larger infrastructure that help improve the condition of the hospital as a whole, as a long run. So here is the first example of the quick fix approach. That here we find an empty space inside the hospital. Here is like the roof, the existing concrete roof. But the problem that we find in the hospital, like there are no waiting area enough for the people. People have to wait 6 hours. So we introduced like, can we adding minimum intervention that help increase that waiting area and meanwhile increase the green area as well. And here you can see like the steel structure that is so minimum. We look at the profile of all the steel and create like a wide span that, because like under this program is like a CAD program, it's like hard operation, so we cannot construct that much on the roof. So the minimum footprint of the structure and try to connect wide spans to the structure. And here is like an example of the wide span structure, and have like the double roof there, adding more green and more fine for the hospital. And you can see that we cannot add a lot of weight. So the thing that we decided that is so invisible is the mixture of the soil here that we cooperate with the horticulture that try to mix the earth that not to be heavy that can place on the roof, and the plant that is not that heavy. Because like this tree is so heavy, it's like 1,000 kilogram for a typical design. So we try to minimize that heaviness by half of the standard weight. Here is like a perspective of the wide span steel structure that touch minimum to the existing structure, and adding like a roof garden that helps all the patient on the tower that can see this tree and allow all the food and beverage program in waiting area under that wide span structure. There's another empty space that we asked the client that we want to use this. So it's next to the labor room, and it's the OPD for the mother who just getting better from the operation. So again, we introduced the new floor finishing with the minimum thing again, because of the waterproof system. Here is like a sculpture of the landscape that we elevated, and we designed the wall to remove some weight of the plant here to try to like minimize the disturbance to the existing structure. Here is like when it's finished, like it's all empty inside this plant. There it's like a wall expand, no weight at all. And here's like atmosphere is happening, and that's trees and other stuff. And another empty space is like a ramp that no one gonna use anymore. So okay, let's use this. So we elevate the platform to create exhibition space and waiting area. Here's like a perspective that we sent to the client, and also just like in progress of the construction. Also develop the typology of the treatment room, examination room, and some of the therapy inside the medical programs. And for the future phase of the larger projects in this hospital, like we want to do something that try to create a green corridor that link all the existing buildings together, improve the social infrastructure, improve the green infrastructure, and have a very good and nice quality of all the patients and also inside the medical campus. Okay, last project.
You can see here that our project embrace change. That we know that nowadays we have to live in like an uncertainty situation that occur quite often, and our project try to revive, adapt, and transform all the time. This one is another example. Is a Thai Hat Living Museum in quiet central and eastern part of Thailand. This area is in a Thai plum village. We call the spiritual home for the community of the Buddhists. It's a place that people come to practice mindfulness. This is a hut of the founder, Thich Nhat Hanh, when he alive. And like in this area, because many people come to take care of him, and like there are so many elements that were added to be like accessible since that time. So it's a kind of obstruct the original beauty of this building. We got a chance to restore this building to come to life again and to be a museum for people to remind to their teacher, their spiritual teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh. This is the existing condition, that they add so many roof and the ramp there. So we propose that to restore the original beauty. We use the reused timber here, cover with the original thatching roof, and we just add the really subtle railing and the ramp surrounding the house. This is when it finished. It's very subtle, which you can see. We remove all the so many roof from the previous picture and adding with the thatch roof. The only element we add not only the ramp but also this railing. You can see it's very subtle to contain many people to come to practice. This is a new ramp around the house. You can see this is the old one, this is the new one that allow the water can like go through because it's semi-outdoor area. And we just add the design to tell the story of Thai. This is the last picture. It's under this building. We just leave it to be like an open space, just a blank space for people to fill in, to come to activate this area. This can be a space that people can practice mindfulness, drink tea, talk, and this is it. This is a place that we can embrace life the way of our living.
Thank you, architects Pacharapan and Bala, for taking us through your process involving the research and interpretation of the life, nature and culture of a region and how you translate it into built spaces. We will now take questions or comments from the audience.
Any questions? Feel free to ask. We catch you.
Hello. Wonderful presentation. So I see that you do a lot of research before you approach a project. So most times we have a time frame within which we need to complete that. So how do you allocate the right time to do research, to start where, to end where? What is your approach? Is there a certain system you follow, or is it very organic? How do you do that?
That's a very good question. I got this question from our lecturer that we have. Yeah, it depends on the project. We want more time. Most clients in Thailand, they require weekly meeting. They want us to send a submission every week, like that's always the commercial program. But we try to, no, don't jump into the conclusion. For example, the hospital project. We try to communicate with them that, oh, you wait for like 45 years, can you wait more like 6 months for us to understand the project? And it's just that, teachers, oh, it makes sense. It's already there, just 40 years, why not wait for another 6 months? Yes, and I think it's about the negotiation between each project and the client. And I do believe, and Tris also do believe that if our reason is strong enough, that the client got back okay and cooperate with us. Most likely like that. Yes.
Quite often that we got the project that is quite unclear program. It seems like they have so many things and they just ask us what to do. So normally we ask for research. Like in the hospital program, that we do lots of interviews with the user to understand everything. And when they know that it will be like useful for them for sure, in the long run, they will accept us normally.
Because like we aim to develop the project with the client. That is our goal at the start of the project. It's not that the client thinking about the brief and handing to the designer to create a perspective and design. But I think the start the conversations that can be helped develop the program and the brief with you. Is that possible? And sometimes we so surprised that many things doesn't need to be built. It can be like cleaning, organizing, and do not need to like invest a lot of that money. Yes.
Are there any more questions?
Let's go. We have a question.
For very nice presentation. I'm very happy to hear the many history and also your approach. And then the keyword invisibility is very, how to say, I can feel through your very nice photographs and also the development story. So I think I'm very sympathized for your approach for quality connect with nature. So it's very happy to see. Thank you very much. And then I have a question that the many project is taking conservation and also, it's also not how to say the simple smaller project. But when you jump up to the hospital project, I can imagine that there are a lot of how to say the conflict or challenges in that. So especially the building also in the center of the city, away from nature. So what was the most important for you to twist up the condition, and also what you try to change from the current condition to the new situation for the big project?
There are so many things different, but our approach is the same way. It's like because we approach in the way that we try to understand everything on site, the context, the user, and the different time that with a different kind of program, right? So for sure we start with the research and take times on the site, take time with the people there, start with the same thing. But the pace of the project will be totally different. I think you also know about that. It's like the way of people living in the rural area is very slow. We have to wait until the test face everything. Like I mentioned, like I had to change the drawing like 10 times. It's like to fit their skill. Even during the COVID crisis, we had to like a Zoom meeting or some, to like fit to their skill. You have to be patient about that. It's quite slow pace. But like when we shift to the working in the urban situation, everything is very active. Like weekly meeting is like change all the time, but it still change. Like everything change all the time, but in a different way. We will not change the drawing, but we have to accept the new flow, new activities all the time. So it's like it's different in this way for sure. Yeah, but with the same approach.
I want to add more for Chris' comment that the hospital project is so complex and the number of the users is so much different compared to the previous project that we worked on. We have like a medical staff, like 2,000 people in this project, and the patient is almost like 100,000 people using the project. So it's a different conversation, different scenario. Like we have to be patient, and to be a good listener, we have to listen a lot. And I feel like sometimes we learn a lot from the hospital project that as an architect is the way that you try to understand other people. That we in the team that appreciate the design, the form, the space, that very nice, very grand, but sometimes it's not working for the like 100,000 people. We want like a genuine letter so far, and the medical staff just said that we got COVID-19, we have to like clean very fast. We cannot use like a letter. That kind of the situation that we have to deal, and we feel like the beauty is not just about the form that is appearance, but it can be a process and an action that we try to help people in the project. So that what we learned from the project, and we try to work on that issues.
I think also I feel that your observation skill is quite high, so that reflects the quality of the project and also the invisibility comes from observation. And I naturally feel you say design in the editing place. It's taking time. The priest taking time. Also Vietnamese priest, so I'm very happy to hear about this. But it naturally connects mindfulness with also observation. So I very naturally feel your approach for the design fit to the meditation place to observe the design, observe the environment, and then make the output through after the observation. So it's very interesting to hear, and also thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alex?